Hello, everyone. Today we're going to go over what we've been working towards all year, which is the Capstone project, the final Capstone project. So essentially, you are taking pieces that were of activities that were completed during the school year, mostly first semester when student teachers were leading the lessons. And every time there was a activity, a NAF lesson that the student teachers were teaching and provided handouts in your OneNote notebooks, there were components of the capstone project that you would be creating. So what you're doing right now, you're essentially putting it all together by creating a PowerPoint presentation outlining the different components that we covered during the year. So in this video, I'm going to explain what this project is all about, what's the description of the project, what are the components, and what headings or topics for each of your slides in your presentation should address. So first, you're going to need to open the handout that I posted on NADSB, which is this right here. I have it here in front of you, and it's the Capstone Seniors description, outline, and rubric. That's the name of the handout that I posted on NADSB. So this is where you're going to find an overview of the capstone project or culminating project. You're going to have an outline that you're going to follow for your PowerPoint presentation and the rubric that I will use to grade your presentations. Different from what we originally were going to do. Of course, traditionally, our capstone presentations, we do it in class with a panel of judges, business partners that volunteer to watch and provide feedback. Unfortunately, because of the situation we're going through, we're not going to be able to do those live presentations. And to spare you from the stress of having to worry about presenting your PowerPoints via Zoom, what I will need you to do is to record your voiceover using PowerPoint. So for each slide, I want you to provide a voice recording explaining your slide. Essentially, you will be presenting each slide, but instead of presenting live, you will record yourself using the PowerPoint record feature. So let's go over the project. So as you know, we've been talking about this all year. This should not be news to any of you. The capstone, pretty much what it is, you are playing the role of a financial planner. The only thing is that the client is yourself. So you are preparing a financial plan for yourself. However, you are acting as if you were 25 years old. So you are preparing a financial plan for yourself at the age of 25. And if you read the project description, this is how it's going to explain. So you have to think of yourself not right now as a high school senior graduating, about to go to college. You're going to think of what is your life going to look like when you're 25 years old. And are you going to be done with college? Most of you, yes. Those of you choosing to go to college, maybe you're working on your master's. Maybe you're done with your master's. Maybe you're working full time. Maybe you're working and going to school to pursue your master's. Maybe you went to the military and you're working at some capacity in the military. Maybe you went straight to work after high school and now you have quite a few years of experience in your belt. So where are you in your professional career at this stage in your life at 25 years old? How much money are you making? What job do you have? What's your lifestyle? Are you married? Are you single? Are you dating someone? Are you engaged? Are you planning for a wedding coming up pretty soon? Are you planning to have kids in the next few years? Do you have kids already? So for each of you, your life at 25 years old will be different. And I want you to think, what do you envision for yourself? And I know that's a difficult task to do at this point because for several of you, you may not even know what you want to major in college, which is okay. It's fine. You have plenty of time to figure all that out. And there's several possibilities of how your life could turn out, what direction you want to pursue for your life. But for this project, just pick one. If you have many possibilities, pick one of those possibilities that could lead you to a particular path. Okay, so for example, if you're not quite sure if you're going to major in pre-med and go to med school, or if you're going to pursue a career in finance or accounting, or if you want to major in marketing, pick one of them. Let's say for this project, you're going to pretend you decided to major in finance or accounting, whatever it is, okay? So you're really going to think of yourself, and I want you to take this seriously. I want you to really use this as an opportunity to set some goals for yourself, to think what life could look like if you take a certain route, if you take certain steps. Okay, don't just take this as a joke. I know you're trying to complete your requirements so you can graduate and be done with your senior year, but look at this project as an opportunity to really do something productive for yourself and set some goals for your future, which is starting very, very soon. So let's look at what exactly you're going to include and what are you going to think of. One important thing is the driving question. This is the question you have to keep in mind as you're working on this project. So the driving question is, how can I create a financial plan that meets my financial goals and protects me from risks for the person I imagine myself to be at the age of 25? So what does that mean? So you're going to create a plan for yourself that meets your financial goals. Remember the lesson where we covered SMART goals? And SMART goals are goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. So a SMART goal must contain all 5 aspects, all aspects of the SMART, SMART. Okay, a SMART goal is not simply specific or simply realistic. It's a combination. You must include all components. So think back, and you might want to go back to the lesson of SMART goals. I believe that was lesson number 3, 3 or 4. You have to go back to your OneNote notebook. You should have, if you saved your handouts, if you kept everything in there, all the lessons are there. If not, it's all in the content library. So you should still be able to review those and get a refresher in your OneNote notebook. So think about your SMART financial goals, and your plan should be aligned with your goals. So what are the 3 in this, for this project? You're going to pick 3 SMART goals that you want to achieve, financial SMART goals. And how are you going to get them? You're going to lay out a plan for you to get there, to achieve those goals. And you have to protect yourself from risks. And we covered that as well. That is insurance. What kind of insurances are you going to have to protect yourself from the possible risks associated with each of those goals, financial goals? Okay, so that's the driving question that you're going to keep in mind. One thing that I'm changing, the presentation, it used to be required to be 5 to 8 minutes long. We're going to require it to be 5 to 7 minutes long. Okay. All right. So let's look at the project components. You're going to essentially, you have to create financial goals. You have to set budgets and cash flow statements. You have to know and pick which investment will be the best for each of your goals, growth and income investments. And of course, the type of insurance that will be appropriate for you to have. I will post on NetBee as well the video, the Capstone video, the sample video that NAF provided, so you can review it. That's simply a guideline for you to see what information or how to present your project. I always tell the classes and I even told you guys beginning of the year, this video by no means is a project. There are several things that could be done a lot better, but I think it's a good guideline, a good sample, and I will post that for you to review. Okay, so when you go to the next page under the organizer, so the organizer is really an outline of what you should include in your PowerPoint. And if you look in this column section where it's numbered, pretty much these could be each slide. So you should have a slide for your introduction. That's where you welcome the audience, you state your name, why are you creating this plan, etc. Then the next slide should go will be the details about you and your life at 25. So what's your biography? Where did you go to school? What kind of education did you have? What kind of job do you have? What's your family life like? Do you live alone? Do you have a roommate? Are you married? Over here, you're also going to address your values that relate to your goal. Remember, we talked about values. And then your risk tolerance. We did an activity about risk tolerance in class. And what was that like? Are you do you consider yourself having high risk tolerance, or do you have low risk tolerance or moderate? So you're gonna address that on the second slide. Next slide will be all about your SMART goals, or the next few slides. So the next one will be your short-term goal, then your midterm goal, and long-term goal. Very important, all these three SMART goals should be financial SMART goals. Let me repeat that. The SMART goals, the three SMART goals that you address in your capstone presentation must be financial SMART goals. Short-term financial SMART goal, midterm financial SMART goal, long-term financial SMART goal. We also described, or we defined, what short, mid, and long-term means for this for our class following the NEF lessons. As a recap, short-term, anything less than 2 years, midterm between 2 to 5 years, long-term more than 5 years. Okay, so for each goal, you will explain or state what your goal is. And again, SMART, containing all specific characteristics of a SMART goal. You must specify its direct cost, meaning direct cost, how much do you need to get the goal? So this will be the dollar amount, the direct cost, how much do you need? And then what's the opportunity cost? What are you giving up in order to achieve that goal? So, for example, if your goal is to buy a specific car, let's say, I don't know, I'm not really good with cars, but let's say you're going to buy a Honda Civic 2021, okay? And it costs $10,000. You already have 5,000 saved. You need another 5,000, and you need to have 5,000 for in the next 2 years because you want to buy it in 2 years, okay? So that's your SMART goal. The direct cost, what you need is 5,000. Okay, you already have 5,000 in the bank saved up. So you need another 5,000 so you can have the 10,000. Did I say it cost 10,000? I think I gave another figure. I'm trying to use round figures just for the example, but obviously a brand new car doesn't cost 10,000, but just for this example so you can understand what I'm talking about, okay? And then the opportunity cost. Well, in order for you to get this car, you're going to have to save up $5,000 in the next 2 years. You're going to give something up. What are you giving up in order to buy that car? What could you be buying? What could you be doing instead with the $5,000 that you're saving for the car? Maybe you could put it towards your retirement. Maybe you could put towards a down payment on a condo. Maybe you could put towards your wedding that you're going to have in the next 5 years. You're giving something up. Maybe you could take a vacation that you've always wanted to, but you're not because you're going to use those 5,000 for your car. So that's your opportunity cost. What is it that you're giving up to get whatever you want to achieve? So you need to do that for each, the short-term goal, the midterm goal, and the long-term goal. For all three, you're going to specify the goal, the direct cost, and the opportunity cost. Then after you described your goals, you need to disclose your balance sheet. So a balance sheet will be really a screenshot of your balance sheet statement, your personal balance sheet. Again, this was lesson 7 that we covered, balance sheet and cash flow statements. So if you go back in your NEF lessons in the OneNote notebook, you will find lesson 7. We did an activity of balance sheet. Hopefully you did it. If you did it, it will be a lot easier. And if you really took it seriously, as you should have, and you thought of yourself as the age of 25, it will be all you have to do is to copy and paste or take a screenshot of the balance sheet and the cash flow statements from your lesson 7 and put it in the PowerPoint. If you didn't do it, it's okay. You just get to do it now. So you're going to present the information in following the format of a balance sheet. If you don't remember, Google it, okay? So a balance sheet will show your regular assets, your wealth building assets, and then of course your total assets. So regular assets, anything that's worth money, that's of value that you have, but doesn't appreciate over time, or maybe even depreciates over time, like a car, like money in the bank. Okay, now wealth building asset is anything that appreciates, like a house, investments. So you're gonna disclose that and add them up for your total assets. Then, of course, your total liabilities. Remember, liability is debt. That's money that you owe to someone or to a company. So if you have a loan in your car, whatever amount you still need to pay off in your loan, that's your liability. Okay, so if you have a car that's worth a regular asset and it's worth $15,000, if you were to sell that car today, you could sell it for $15,000, but you have a loan of $10,000, so you will put $15,000 is your regular asset, but you have a liability of $10,000 in that car because that's a car loan. If you have a mortgage, whatever amount you still owe the bank or the creditor, that's a liability. Student loans, that's a liability. And then you're going to take your total assets minus your total liabilities, and that is your net worth. Okay. Next is the cash flow statement. So over here, you outline your income and your expenses, and I want you to outline or list those on a yearly basis. So what's your total income a year? What are your total expenses a year? Okay, you must be consistent. If you're using yearly figures, you must do that for your income and expenses. So rent, you have to pay rent every month. That's an expense. But you have to pay every month, so times 12 for the yearly rent expense. Any, under your expenses, any other payments you make. Maybe you make a car payment, maybe utilities, your grocery bills, any major expense that you would have to deal with during the year, you're going to put it in here. Income, by the way, include all sources of income. Maybe you have your full-time job, but maybe you have a side hustle, a business on the side that you run. Maybe you do some consulting. So add all sources of income. And then, so you're going to take your total income minus your total expenses. If you have any money available and money left over, that will be money that could be used towards your SMART goals. Okay? If you don't have money available over here, part of your plan will be to cut some of the expenses so you do have money available for your SMART goals. All right, moving on. The next section is insurance portfolio. So at this point, you're going to think about, okay, I have my these are the expenses I have at the age of 25. These are my income. This is my income. These are the assets and the liabilities I have. Well, what kind of insurance do I need at this stage of my life? Do I have a car? If so, I definitely need car insurance. What kind of coverage am I getting? How about property insurance? If I own a home, I need property insurance. If I rent, I need renter's insurance. How about health? Do I have to pay out of pocket? Do I get it from my employer? How does it work? Do I have any dependents? If so, I need life insurance. If not, if I'm single, if I'm not married, don't have any kids, probably don't have to worry about it. So, any insurance, any protection against risk, you have to think about what do you have, what do you need right now at the age of 25, and you're going to explain. Then next is the last big portion of your presentation, and this is your investment plan. So over here, you're gonna identify how you are gonna achieve those goals, those SMART goals that you described earlier in the presentation. How are you gonna save up the $5,000 to buy that $10,000 car that you want? What are you gonna do? What's the plan for that short-term goal? So are you gonna put aside $100 a month for a certain number of months? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna put money where? Are you gonna put money in a savings account, in a CD, in a money market? Maybe it's a long-term goal and you're gonna put money in mutual funds. Maybe retirement is one of your goals and you wanna retire at a certain age with a certain amount of money in your retirement. So how much you're gonna start putting into your retirement right now, starting now, and for how long, and what kind of interest rate. You're gonna describe all those details for each of these goals. Must include specific and detailed investment strategy to achieve each goal. So again, you're gonna specify what investment you're using. Are you using income investment or growth investment? Remember, income investment are for short-term purposes, less than 5 years. So bank account, savings, CD, money market. Growth investments are for long-term investments, more than 5 years, such as 401ks, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, index funds. Those are all long term. You must specify the average rate of return or interest rate in the account, how long you're going to invest the money for, how much a month, as much detail as you can possibly give. This is probably one of the most important portions of this whole project, and I pay close attention to this portion, the investment plan. And then the last thing you're going to conclude, of course, include a conclusion slide where you're going to, besides thanking everybody, I want you to provide financial planning advice that you will give to a newcomer. So share one piece of advice when it comes to financial planning to maybe a junior that will be taking this course next year, or a younger version of yourself. What would you tell yourself? What advice would you give that you wish you had known earlier or sooner? And then also put your favorite quote. What quote do you like that means something, that represents you and your future and your goals? And last, 3 to 5 things you learned from this course. What are 3 to 5 things that you learned from personal finance class? That should be in your conclusion slide. Remember, after creating your PowerPoint, I would like you to add your voice recording for each slide in the presentation. So you're gonna add your voice recording. This will replace the live presentation. So that's kind of like the compromise we're having right now. Instead of doing a live Zoom presentation where you have to schedule a day and a time for you to present with business partners. By the way, the juniors are doing that for the Smart Car project. So you guys are lucky because you're not doing all that. But I need to know that you've learned something, and I need to hear you and your beautiful voice presenting all the knowledge you gained in this year's class. So make sure you add your voice recording for each slide in the presentation. Your voice recording should include all the good details and interesting ways to express your information so that the audience, in this case me, is listening and enjoying your presentation. So make it fun, put your twist to it. show your creativity in your voice and in your presentation. So you guys are certified in Microsoft PowerPoint. You know how to make a presentation interesting. So do that and include your voice, please. The entire presentation should be between 5 to 7 minutes long. You will save the presentation, including your voice recording. Make sure you play it first to make sure everything plays correctly and save correctly, then submit it to Adsby using the Capstone project submit button. Okay? And that's it. So your final PowerPoint, which is your last assignment of the year for personal finance class. Yay, good job, you made it. Well, you can say I made it, I did it after you submit this project. The deadline is your official last day of school or last day of e-learning, which is Friday, May 15th. You're going to submit to Adsby by no later than Friday, May 15th. Okay? And that's it. You should be proud of yourselves. I am so proud of you guys. I miss you so, so much. I am looking forward to seeing you very soon. Hopefully, I'll get to see you on Thursday when you come to pick up your cap and gown. I will be there to say hello. And I look forward to seeing you at graduation, July 17th as well. So even though we couldn't spend the last few weeks together, we still will see each other. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're staying well and safe and healthy. Take care of yourselves. Send me a Adsby message, a private message if you have any questions, and join me on Zoom this Wednesday or every Wednesday at 10 o'clock if you would like to go over any information for this project, or on Fridays anytime between 10 and noon. I will be available for one-on-one meetings via Zoom as well. All right, take care, you guys. Bye-bye.